And it's showtime. What's up, people? We're back with the third episode of the engineering edition. This is Aves Kamran from Conrad Labs, and I have my co-host with me, Anton Churyn, all the way from Delivery Hero. What's up, Anton?
All
How's
good, man.
life?
Thanks for asking. How you doing?
Yeah, I had a busy day, but I'm doing okay.
Amazing.
You can you can pretty much judge that from my straight face, but it's cool.
Okay, fair, fair.
Yeah, tell me how can I be more productive in my life, in my professional life.
Professional life,
By the
it's really
way,
interesting.
just a little tip for the audience. Anton has written like two fully blown articles on being productive. So that's like his this is his thing. So even I'm gonna learn from him today. This is my productivity 101 class with Anton
Coaching.
Shurin. Good. Yeah.
Okay, cool,
So
cool.
interesting topic today, by the way. Productivity in general for software engineers. Uh, but yeah, if there's anybody else within the audience who's not a software engineer, definitely you can benefit from today's talk. And yeah, roll the ball to Anton and let's talk about it.
Okay, cool. Then let me sit the coaching seat, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
It's the
try
hardest part
try to.
of doing a podcast is having a straight face and sitting right in front of your camera for 40 straight minutes. Okay, go on.
Yeah,
Let's do
exactly.
this.
Let's do this. Yes. The first of all, I think it's really interesting for everyone to understand what is your productivity hours,
Yeah.
and you should just explore yourself. Just easily just observe for some amount of time what is drive you. Could be the music, the noise, I don't know, the engagement, just this situation around you. Yeah,
Whether you're a morning person or the night owl, that also
exactly,
counts. Yeah.
exactly. Just morning
I'm a
larks,
morning
night owls, anything.
yeah. And you can be hybrid. Like I've sometimes some days I feel like I'm a morning person and some days I feel like I'm a night owl. There's no in between. There's just two extremes. So,
Yeah, I think this is some sort of the circadian rhythms where you can just jump from one to another, just back and forth during your entire
yeah.
life. It's absolutely
Sure.
fine. Just no limits, nothing just to reject or be upset with it.
Yeah. Cool, cool.
Cool. Then moving forward, I think this is your activities. Just track what you energize you and give you engagement. It could be the hobby, the work, some shifting, some physical exercises, anything you want. It could be quick, it could be long. It depends how to say. Just
Yeah.
you can see this additional charge during the day. Example, you're too exhausted. I don't know. Before lunch, after lunch, you need some kind of the quick recharge. You can go out, for example, read a book, read the article, start writing something, listen to music, talk to your friends, anything. Just to give you just this extra mile to still keep engaging the day and just satisfy your mood.
Yeah. So there's this technique, Pomodoro technique, that I personally use sometimes as well, and it exactly relates to what you're explaining here. So what Pomodoro technique is, it was like it's a time management method, and it was developed by Francisco Cirillo, I think, if I'm
Mhm.
pronouncing it right. Yeah, and it goes way back in the 1980s. So this particular individual, what he'll do, he'll put a 25-minute timer, a kitchen timer, and he would actually create a focus zone for himself. And he would give himself a limit that I'm going to do this particular thing for 25 minutes straight. And when the timer goes off, he gets up, does something else, eats ice cream, like me sometimes.
Cool.
So so Pomodoro technique. That's like one productivity tip. And I believe in software engineering, with my experience, I struggle with focus a lot. I think everybody does, especially in times like when We're in the age of social media and the mindless scrolling, so all that kind of stuff. So for me, my breaks are normally I normally have podcasts on YouTube, so which I listen to, and if I have a focus work, I'll just turn it off, and when I'm done, in like half an hour or 20 minutes, I'll go back to those podcasts. Or it can be coffee breaks for me, or it can be general. I love wrestling news and stuff like that, so I'll just go over and watch it, or any DC Universe news or the Marvel Cinematic news, anything that just triggers my interest. So that's like my thing, how I sort of implement it in my daily routine. What about you?
Cool. Yeah, this fair regarding the Pomodoro technique, and this is really what is it undervalued side effect of the Pomodoro technique. The people remember unfinished things better than finished things. And when you're
Yeah,
trying to dig into some problem, just to go out for some time, you will remember better for the long term. You will have more arsenal and you will remember it more correctly in a better way when you're constantly coming back to the issue and trying to deal with again and again and again.
yeah, makes sense. Fair enough.
And for me personally, I love just to understand it. I call it the focus time, but it's not actually focus time. I'm trying to find this mind flow where you are completely isolated with what you're doing. You are in a pipe. You're just
Hmm.
not thinking about anything else. And if you're, how to say it, if you will find it, try to think how you cut to this situation, right? How you activate this, let's call it monk mode,
Zen mode.
Zen
Oh
mode.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Where you just doing it like the, how to say it, if you haven't played in the Sims, they have some kind of the engagement mode. They can do whatever they like. It feels like the same. You can do
yeah,
forever. Can do
yeah.
forever.
But it's kind of hard to tap into that zone, don't you think? There are like whole spiritual studies out there on this. People have written books on this. Uh,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
I do agree that it's more like exploring yourself a bit more, knowing what triggers you and knowing what really gets you going in terms of focus. For a lot of people, it's music. For a lot of people, for a person like me, it can be like different podcasts or comic book news and stuff like that. Coffee. Uh, but still, it's kind of hard to tap in. Like, how do we actually translate into practical tips? Like, how can you actually get into that zone?
actually, how to say it? Coming back to engagement and drivers, you can use something called personality. And this personality
Mhm.
could contain something called, for example, it's interesting work, right? And someone
Mhm.
really interesting to, I don't know, making UI or architecting, writing the documents, anything you just
Yeah,
naturally enjoy, it will give you the
yeah,
benefit, right? It's plus one to this state. For example, for some of the people I know, especially in software engineering space, they love some kind of a closed-based task or closed-based activity. When they jump in, finish it, and they pretty engaged because they, how to say, they made it, right? It's
yeah.
also plus one. It is just no
It's
right or wrong answer. Just explore what drive you.
it's more like validation that you get after completing a particular task. But
Absolutely.
there's a challenge in this. A lot of software houses or software firms or software companies, they don't really, uh, you know, they would not always offer you the kind of work that you like. It's like, let's say you love building React components, and but you're really stuck with this backend module. So I think one way, and I've been into these situations. So how I actually figured a way out is like I would always have a certification going on or an online course going on, which really sort of helps me in triggering that Zen mode. And it really helps me tap into that. So whenever I'm working, I would really If I'm kind of bored and I know that I cannot go an extra mile, what I would do, I would really give myself like an hour or half an hour in which I'll study something like that. So that sort of helps in my
That's cool.
case. If you have any
That's
additional tips on that,
Yeah, from my side, I love solve the problems, and especially I'm trying to, how to say it, when it's for me it's boring, I'm trying to find that, and just find
do
that it's
what?
more
Lead code?
complicated. No, 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 just at work, for example, you are doing some crazy stuff, you're doing something, but it's pretty
Yeah,
boring for you, right? And
yeah,
you want something interesting, you want some kind of the, I don't know, R&D or learn new technology or anything else,
yeah, yeah,
and it's hard, but you can discuss with your manager or the peers or engage with the someone just to find this plus one
yeah,
who can be with you during this way.
yeah,
It could be pair
yeah,
program, it could be anything.
yeah.
Just from my side, it works better because you're stay connected with people. It means you have emotional connect, and you have some sort of the connect to solve together something.
Cool. That adds up to that as well.
Yep. Okay, let's move forward. In terms of the strategic breaks, we already discussed the Pomodoro technique,
Yeah.
but let's discuss, do you have any tips for the people how to plugged off from this IT world, from the software engineering world, which you are personally
It's
using?
hard. Ah, that's a hard one because you can always. I remember since the OpenAI advent and since things have been popping here and there regarding AI stuff, it's really hard to just switch it off. It's kind of
Absolutely.
hard because I don't know. Sometimes I feel like if I get that FOMO, that feeling of missing out. I'll just might miss out on something that's kind of really important. And I know it doesn't really help you always. For me, I think, and that's a very negative thing. When I'm really burnt out, and there are times when I get burned out, it's only then when I realize that hey, I should just take a day off with my internet off from my phone or my laptop. So it's not a very healthy thing to suggest to any form of an audience, I would say. Uh, but yeah, I think having time with my family and playing with my toddler really helps, and that's probably the only escape I have right now.
Cool.
So I won't suggest the burning out part because it's like you're just going and going and going and you have this tunnel vision. It's not healthy at all. I don't recommend it to anybody. Uh, but it sort of works for me. It keeps me going.
That's cool. That's cool. Actually, I explored two from my life, the books which
Hmm.
works personally for me. One of them, Through the Stress, and when you finish the work, just
Hmm.
go as quick as you possibly can to switch the context. It could be anything, and better to have it some physical activity. Just go for a walk,
Hmm.
I don't know, wash something, I don't know, just make something, make some food, anything you want. Even just make a cocktail just to celebrate the day. Also the great one. But
Not
this is
recommended for
this
my audience.
absolutely. No, I mean just not alcoholic cocktails, just in general, some
Oh
cocktails.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Just
I know
just get just get
smooth something. Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's when I was living in Berlin. Definitely, that was my escape as well. The cooking part. So I
Yes.
get it. That helps. That helps. That helps a lot.
Absolutely.
It's like an
Uh,
instant context switch, instant switching from your daily work to because now you were actually coding that endpoint and now you're cutting vegetables. So it's kind of it helps your
Yep.
thoughts really
e-
flow into different vessels. Cool.
Exactly.
What else? What
And
else you got?
the second one is go silent mode. I call it silent mode, where you're turn off all your notification, anything, just for the 1 hour,
Yeah.
and you
Don't
can do
talk to your
whatever you
wife.
like.
Don't talk to your parents. Don't talk to your brothers.
Yeah, just to say this silent mode is the advanced level. Just not to talk to anyone for the 1 hour to refresh your brain.
Mhm.
It's pretty powerful, but it's
Oh,
pretty complicated. I tried it twice. Make some kind of the day detox when you keep
yeah.
silent the whole day. It sounds harder than the reality, guys.
I know. I know.
Reality is
I know.
unbelievably hard.
Yeah. But I do apply it in my daily life in one way. For me, that's my gym. So when I enter my gym, that's like 45 minutes, uh, which are just allocated for me. Nobody can have that time. Uh, and obviously, for me to actually keep doing that, that's the hard part. To actually really keep going to the gym, that's the hard part. But there's always something that you can figure out. What I do, I just turn off my phone. I I I go airplane mode. I don't take, which is not, of course, healthy if you have any like personal emergency at home or something like that. But it has worked out for me. It's like half an hour, 40 minutes of no social contact. It's just you. You're in a zone and you're just working out. So that really helps you to detox your brain. And I do believe a lot of people would really be like, a lot of people would definitely ignore this part, but it really helps. Like, even if you cannot go to the gym, even if you don't want to cook, going for a walk for just like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just to clear your head, not talking to anybody, uh, that can definitely improve your quality of your evening or even the upcoming day.
Exactly. I'm practicing it just before the work, have for walk for half of hour, and lunch, and after the work. And it really
Yeah.
helps to stay healthy.
So that's your
And
no meeting. So that's your no meeting slot.
yes, this I call it lunch slot, where you have
Lunch slot.
lunch.
Extended
And
lunch slot.
yeah, guys, if you're in office, working from office, I highly recommend it to find some place where you can spend, I don't know, 25 minutes or 20 minutes going to this place, have some lunch, and come back. And then you will benefit rather than just stay at office and spend all your time in office.
Yeah, that's a good advice. Um, Also, let's talk about some practical tips in terms of arranging your calendar. That is again not the best approach that people follow. So I was going through a few productivity posts today as well, and I came across Alexander Dajak's post in which he comically actually covered it up. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, sure.
So so he had his calendar all days with just busy slot. All day you're busy, and how it helps you, it frees your calendar from the meetings you probably won't need. So that's an escape strategy 101. And manage your time better by segmenting work streams. That helps for me. I'm going to discuss it a bit further. And appear extremely busy to your manager. That's the third point. So kind of cover up the goals right there. So segregating work streams, I it helps. You would not always follow it because there would always, one thing can always coincide with some other thing. Your breakfast can coincide with your commuting can coincide with your daily stand up. That's how it is. But having it on the calendar really helps you unconsciously, because it's your unconscious brain telling you every single day whenever that notification pops up that, hey, you're supposed to do that. You should be doing that instead of this. And you can go on for days not doing a particular task, but eventually uh it's like an internal trigger that will actually force you to do it eventually. So it's something that you can apply as a long-term measure to really slot up your calendar, like put everything there, even if you're going for lunch, even if you're going outside to commute. Obviously, it helps in effective communication between the teams and between intra team setup. But obviously, at a very personal level, it helps me a lot if I just put everything. So I have like slot for my table tennis. I have a slot for my lunch. I have two slots for commuting whenever I'm working from the office. I have one slot in which that's my phone. Let me just. All right. All right. So where were we? So yeah. So that's what happens when you don't put your phone on an airplane phone. You're a podcast. We
Exactly.
should do that.
Exactly.
We should do that. We've
Yes,
never done
for
that.
sure, for sure. Silent mode, silent mode.
Silent mode. That's our silent mode. Cool.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think even I have a coffee break on my calendar. Uh, it sort of helps me. Sometimes I struggle to keep me disciplined.
Yeah, just I think discipline will come with the practice where you shouldn't focus on the perfection, and for any, how to say it, well-being or our natural body, it's really healthy when you have some sort of the irregularity, right? And if you're
Yeah.
understanding you will have some meetings every week or twice a week or one in a month, once months, it's really
Hmm.
great because you're reducing the stress. And just the productivity, it's mostly about how to reduce the stress for yourself and try to be closer to this Zen mode.
Yeah. True. Also, what I do apply and what's like a universal technique as well, and this is also a popular one besides Pomodoro technique. This is called Eisenhower matrix, and it's
Mm,
like I'm pretty sure you might have seen it. It's like a four squared box in which you have the
yes.
do's and you have the don'ts. And a lot of people would be like, this is like a cliche practice. It's not. If you sort of really strictly apply it to your work week. For example, every sprint has a particular target. And I'm pretty sure every sprint has tasks that need to be delivered urgently. And then there are tasks that can be delegated. There can be tasks that are not really needed right now, but you can just create a spike over it and sort of work around it. So I think even if in our daily lives we find such tasks which can be distributed within the Eisenhower matrix. So that's also one thing that I do follow sometimes, especially
Mhm.
with sprints that are heavily clogged with a lot of various different kind of diverse tasks.
I actually have one more.
Really?
Maybe you also heard, guys. Yeah, it's eat the frog first technique.
Frog first. Oh,
Yeah, when
have
you
you
need
read the
just
book?
to, yes,
Have you read?
yes,
Oh
yes.
man, it's a great book. If you guys are watching and you need like a very small book to read from, uh, that's the one. I'm forgetting the whole name and the author's name. Can you fill it in for me, or let me just Google it?
Uh, you can Google it. I don't remember exactly. And until that, I will explain what it means. The eat the frog first. It's the approach based on the idea to completing the hardest task first
Yeah,
on the first place. That probably can improve your productivity for the whole day.
true. Eat the frog first. I'm actually googling the author right now. That's a technique for sure, but I forgot the name of the publisher actually. Oh yeah, I found it. So it's actually I got a link from. So it's Brian Tracy. Yeah, Eat That Frog. That's the name of the book.
Eat that
Really
frog.
great
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
Really great advices. So it says like 21 great ways to stop procrastinating and get more done in less time. So surely recommended. All
Okay.
right, what do we have next?
Next, if you want, we can discuss a bit just your tackling the meetings. I can also give you some advices how to organize a bit the calendar.
So
Actually,
one
how to say
thing
it
that
from the staff level.
as a staff engineer. Sure.
Yeah,
Uh, normally, what I've done and what really works for me is that I've kind of really spent a lot on my workstation and the kind of equipment I use. I'm a tech geek, and I love to explore, cameras, lighting, microphones, and stuff. But what I really explored down the way is like when you have a dedicated workstation for yourself, and I would recommend everybody to invest not heavily, moderately on your workstation, but have a dedicated workstation, uh, which you can go back and go back and forth. Like if you're not working, just don't do that on your workstation. Have your workstation dedicated for your work from home meetings and stuff like that. And yeah, I keep buying those you know Marvel Cinematic pop-ups and pop heads as decoration piece whenever I need. So uh, as a hobby, it's sort of translated into a productive tip or productive aspect for me in my daily routine. So yeah, that's one thing at the top of my head.
that's cool.
And one another aspect which sort of helped me within the intra team, and I know a lot of my teams they're like tired of me doing that, but I still continue to do it anyway. So it's like I love just getting into their random PRs and just typing in all sort of comments, and it sort of helps me at the team level and the teams outside, uh and also sort of keeps me going in terms of ensuring quality. So yeah, that's one. And I'm very comprehensive in terms of documentation. Even if my juniors or my teammates are listening to this, I'm pretty sure they're gonna crack a laughter at this because I just keep pushing them to just always document stuff. Even if you're changing a port, just put it there. I don't want to go asking anybody, pinging anybody up that, hey, so you actually worked on this repository? What was the port number again? I don't want to do that. So just put it there. Everything, even the minor level of details, should be there right in front of you. Your documentation should be so on point that even if a stranger walks in, he can run your code. He knows what's going on with the code. But again, this is obviously a practice that a lot of team leads don't follow, sadly, but you should.
Everyone should.
Everyone should. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
remember this is the one advice from, how to say it, for people who join in the new company at any level.
Yeah.
They just start documenting all your questions and then convert it to the documents or documentation or readme on changelog or anything, just to
Mhm.
help the future peers. Because your questions, everyone will ask after you. And if you can reduce the time of the people just to make this leap easier and faster, it is beneficial
Yeah.
for everyone because you will have less
Yeah.
distraction and everyone will be more
Less.
productive.
Yeah, less people pinging you. But there are some people who sort of like that. Like being at in the limelight or the attention zone where people are approaching them. That's a personality issue. You should definitely seek a psychologist for that. But in terms of really enabling the healthy workplace for your teammates and outside your team as well, I think that these two pointers are crucial. That everyone should review everyone's code, and you should really encourage a platform where they can document stuff and encourage to other folks as well.
Regarding the pull requests and code reviews, I think it's another podcast because it's too
Oh
much
man,
from the
you
psychology, how
might
to not to
think.
take it personal.
Yeah, nothing personal, definitely.
Yeah, nothing personal, just about the code. We're talking about the code.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
So these were like at the top of my at the top of my head. Do you have any specific other practices?
I have some practices. I can call it as some kind of the, let's call technique, but
Mm-hmm.
I really like to rank what you are doing in some sort and manner. If you will
Mm-hmm.
come to the meetings, I will try to collect as much information as I can
Mm-hmm.
and understand the why I should participate in these meetings. Or you're adding the value or
Oh man,
anything.
that's
It's yeah, this is pretty hard and tough time for everyone because everyone can pretty booked with the meetings,
yeah,
especially if you're going up in the career ladder, for sure. And you need just to
yeah.
have the clear understanding on every meeting
I
and know
think
how to
before
use
even
them.
saying that, exactly, exactly. One thing that I truly adopt as a practice whenever I'm inviting somebody else to that meeting, I always write in the agenda, and and sometimes it really offends me when it shouldn't offend me, obviously, but it's like a practice I follow religiously. So whenever I get a meeting invite with no agenda, I'm really lost, and it takes like 1 minute, even lesser than that, just to type in like one liner explanation of what is intended, like why I'm needed in this meeting. And I know a lot of people don't actually question it. So within our field of work, there are people who love to have meetings, and then there are a lot of people who do want to participate in a meeting, but obviously, if you don't have anything, if you don't bring anything to the table, then why are you in the meeting at the first place? Why are you not questioning your teammates or your manager that what good would come out if I'm in this meeting? So that's one productivity tip as well. And that's really around saying no to meetings that are no good to your schedule. But also, if you don't have anything to offer, just don't be there. It's not kind of rude. I have seen it happen a lot of time in uh, you know uh, in my time abroad as well, where people would just walk out of meeting very silently by just dropping a message. But in subcontinent, for some reason, it is sometimes
Yes,
considered rude to walk out of a meeting.
absolutely.
It's like, oh no, I'll be judged by my manager. So
Exactly.
so yeah, we need to come out of that kind of fear because it helps everybody eventually. It's gonna help the product you're building. It's gonna help your team.
No, actually, just not to be rude. It's, what is it? Just first, yeah, you as a leader who scheduled in the meeting, you should set up the context. And this context should be
True.
pretty clear why you need this group of people attend or participate or add some value to the meeting or after the meeting. What is the purpose of the meeting, right? Because you can create some fancy stuff, but no one
Yeah.
knows what is the expected things, what you will talk about, or anything you need guidance,
What are
help.
the takeaways? Especially the
Yes,
takeaways, I would say.
just set up the direction. What is the direction and outcome expecting from the people? But before they will join the meeting, they can quickly refresh in the mind. Oh, okay, yeah, we will talk about XYZ, and this is what we need to agree or come up with some solution or idea. And it will be
Hmm.
easier and reduce the stress for everyone. And not to be rude to say, hey, you invite me to the meeting. Just I don't think I'm just the good at, or just can you just give me the reason why you need me? And the
True.
people can just, because some cases it could be exceptions, even just in my work, it could be a, can you please just attend for some other team just to be a technical guide if needed? You will just
Yeah.
silently attend, you will do your work, but if some questions, they will politely say, Anton, just Anton or someone, can you just jump in? Let's discuss just some summary, not summary. You will say some few words about it. You will guide us or answer the question. It's also
True.
fine,
True.
but you need to understand the value, right? If you can add some value, it's important meeting. If you just attendee and it's not so I don't know, corporate or some other style of the meeting, driven by the company, you can easily or skip it or at least just get the people know this is you maybe added to mistake or you don't need to participate more or anything just to not waste your time. And the people will also not rely you will be here just silently. They also will be confused because maybe you're not understanding something or anything. And
Yeah.
I saw a lot of meetings the people just continue doing their work and they just join the meetings, go in silent mode and do just coding, code reviews, PRs, documentation, anything they absolutely out of the context.
Yeah. That's true. Can't stress on it more. One another thing, which, as I mentioned before, sort of works for me is which I would definitely advise all the senior software engineers, staff engineers, even if you're a manager, uh, that's the continuous learning. I think everyone should have some sort of a course or some sort of a learning aspect which really excites you and which can also benefit you in your role. And there's always something like uh, as I got up to the ladder, the software engineering ladder, I realized that a lot of things really humble you. You cannot always know everything, and the realization of it, firstly, really helps. And the second part of that realization is actually doing something about it. Even it's an AWS certification, go for it. It's a Udemy course, go for it. If it's a podcast, go for it. It's just 40, 45 minutes or 1 hour. Definitely you'll have something to learn. If it's an event, uh, go for it. When you hear like 4 or 5 people talk uh, within a 30-minute slot, definitely you learn a lot. So have that kind of thing going on for yourself. It would really help you uh, to stay updated. It would really kill that FOMO feeling, which I sort of encounter many times. So yeah, that one thing, just to add up to your comment.
Yeah, that's totally makes sense. Okay, moving forward. Regarding the productivity, I know the topic regarding the community. Just to find the right community with the
Yeah,
people where you can engage, make learnings, make something together, some side project, anything, or even have some hobby friends. It's really beneficial for your personal productivity, first of all.
yeah.
What do you
So
think about
Anton's my hobby friend when it comes to podcasts.
it? Likewise.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one good takeaway. Cool. We're in the last uh probably section of our podcast. Let's talk about the key takeaways, and let's try to summarize everything that we have sort of discussed it. Uh I would sort of I think I've made all the remarks in terms of conclusive remarks. Do you have anything to
Mhm.
add upon that? I think I'm out of any productivity tips right now. I've I've
Productivity
I've laid
tips.
it all out.
I think the last one, maybe we missed it, maybe not. Is how to organize your resources because
Yeah.
I think it's really important, and we all
Hmm.
trying to stay organized at home, at work, everywhere, just to keep things in a place we know where they are. And I learned, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago from the great guys from the ops team how
Hmm.
they dealing with all these huge messy infrastructure things because in that time it was for me just magic because it's too
Hmm.
complicated to keep all servers everything running. They share with me just try to keep everything by, let's call it, by the entity or domain knowledge. And for example, if you have some front end, don't keep it everything as a front end, right? You can add a bit more layers and don't focus on the perfection from the first place. You need just come, I don't know, once in a week, once in a 2 weeks, and just to think once again how you want to structure the things. Because as you're growing, you will have more resources. You can just be part of the multiple teams, of the cross-functional teams. We will have just front end, back end, infrastructure, product design. It's a lot. It's a lot. And in terms how you will organize it, what is the works best for you? For example, you can organize by team. You can organize by, I don't know, domain, entity, anything, and keep it engaging. And please don't create some kind of the divatos. A divatos is the terms from HTML where you have just huge nested childs. If you open any page, you will see this from the beginning. Just div. Just avoid
Ah,
it, guys. Avoid it because too much folders is also bad, and less folders also bad. Just keep it somewhere in the middle, just to have at least 4/6 hopes to find the right place. And if you will practice it for the 1 month, you will do it automatically without even thinking about it.
true. Got it. Perfect. Yeah. So I think we've covered quite a lot of ground here.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. Uh, I hope this helped. If you have any comments, please don't forget to comment. And definitely, Anton would be sharing a few articles of his as well. And I got to read one of them, and it really helped. I could relate with a few things, a few practices uh, down the road as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back for another episode, and till then, stay tuned and have a great evening. Thank you, Anton, for joining, and
Thank you,
I'll see
Eric,
you next
for
week, I
hosting.
guess.
Thanks, everyone. See you guys.
Cheers.
Tschüss.
Bye.